If you've been putting off investing because you think $500 or $1,000 isn't going to make a real difference, I'm about to show you why your first year of investing is actually the most important year of your entire wealth building journey. Maybe you've been telling yourself, I'll start investing when I have more money. Or, what's the point of investing such a small amount? Here's what I've discovered through research and working with women who've built substantial wealth. The difference between someone who builds $500,000 by retirement and someone who doesn't isn't about having perfect timing or huge amounts to start with. It's about understanding that your first $10,000 invested creates the foundation for everything that follows. I'm Toyin, a CPA and financial planner, and I specialize in helping women in their 40s and 50s build wealth through smart investing. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why your first year matters more than the next 5 years combined and give you a simple roadmap to reach that crucial $10,000 milestone. This strategy works especially well if you're ready to build wealth systematically, which is exactly where many midlife women find themselves, regardless of their current income level. Because once you understand the real math behind that first $10,000, you'll never again think that starting small means starting insignificantly. Let me share a scenario that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine Rachel, a 46-year-old nurse practitioner. She spent 2 years researching investments, reading articles, and watching videos. She had $800 saved and kept thinking, this isn't enough to start. I should wait until I have at least $5,000. Those 2 years of waiting cost her more than she realized. If she'd invested that $800 and added just $400 monthly, she would have reached $10,000 in her first year. Instead, she had $800 sitting in a savings account earning essentially nothing. But this scenario teaches us something crucial about wealth building. Your first year isn't about how much money you make from investing. It's about building the systems, habits, and psychological foundation that create wealth over decades. Here's what this example shows us and what I want you to understand. Your first $10,000 invested is worth far more than the dollar amount suggests. It's your wealth building education, your confidence builder, and your proof that this actually works. The hidden value of your first 10,000. Many people think about that first $10,000 purely in terms of investment returns. They calculate that at 7% annual growth, $10,000 becomes $10,700 in 1 year. And they think, big deal, $700. But that misses the real value of your first $10,000. Here's what actually happens. Value one, you build the investing habit. Your first year teaches you how to invest regularly, how markets work, and how to stay calm during volatility. These lessons are worth hundreds of thousands over your lifetime. Value two, you overcome analysis paralysis. Once you have investment invested, you stop researching endlessly and start focusing on adding more money. Research shows people with money in the market invest more consistently than people getting ready to invest. Value three, you create momentum. Your first $10,000 proves to yourself that wealth building works. Psychologically, reaching $10,000 makes the next $10,000 feel achievable, not impossible. Value four, you learn by doing. You'll understand investing concepts through experience rather than theory. When you see your $10,000 drop to $8,500 during a market dip and then recover to $11,200, you learn about volatility in a way no article can teach. Let's look at the real numbers behind why your first year matters so much. If you invest $1,000 monthly for 20 years at 7% average returns, you have about $525,000. Most people focus on the final number, but here's what they miss. Your first year's contribution will grow to about $77,000 of that total. That means the $12,000 you invest in year one becomes $77,000 by retirement. That's more than 6 times what you put in just from the first year's contributions. Now, if you wait 3 years to start investing, thinking you need to save up first, those first year dollars never get invested. You lose $77,000 forever. It's not just delayed, it's gone. But here's where it gets interesting. The habits and knowledge you build in that first year typically leads to investing larger amounts in subsequent years. Once people prove to themselves that investing works and develop confidence in the process, they often find ways to increase their contributions in year two and beyond. Now, if you're feeling motivated to start, but worried about making the right choices with your investment timeline and goals, I send out a weekly newsletter with practical strategies specifically for women in their 40s and 50s. I'll put the link below. No generic advice, just actionable steps you can implement right away to start building wealth on your timeline. The three-phase path to $10,000. Phase one, the first $1,000. Your first goal isn't $10,000. It's 1,000. This might take you 1 month if you can invest $1,000, or 2 months if you're starting with $500 monthly. The first $1,000 is purely about building the habit and getting comfortable with the mechanics of investing. Open your investment account, choose a broad market index fund, and make your first purchase. Don't worry about optimizing everything perfectly. The goal is to go from thinking about investing to being an investor. That identity shift happens the moment you own your first share. Once you have $1,000 invested, focus on consistency. Add money every month, regardless of what the market is doing. This phase teaches you the most important lesson in investing: time in the market beats time in the market. During this phase, you'll experience your first market fluctuations. Your $3,000 might drop to $2,700, then grow to $3,400. These experiences are invaluable education that you can't get from reading or watching videos. By month 6 to 8, you should have $5,000 to $6,000 invested if you're contributing $500 to $800 monthly. You're now officially in serious wealth building territory. Congratulations. The final push to $10,000 is where most people either accelerate or plateau. The key is increasing your monthly contributions as you get more comfortable with investing. Maybe you started with $500 monthly, but now you're contributing $700 or $800. Or perhaps you get a tax refund or a bonus that you add to your investments instead of spending. The goal is to hit $10,000 within your first 12 months of investing. This creates powerful momentum for year two. The key is making it automatic and consistent, then increasing the amount as you get more comfortable with the process. I know some of you might be looking at this $10,000 target and thinking, there is no way I can save that much in 1 year. And you know what? That's completely okay. The real goal isn't hitting exactly $10,000 in exactly 12 months. The real goal is building the investing habit and proving to yourself that this works, whatever your timeline looks like. Maybe you can only invest $200 a month, which means $10,000 takes you 4 years instead of one. That's still 4 years sooner than if you never started at all. Maybe you can invest $500 monthly and reach $10,000 in 20 months. That's perfectly fine too. The psychological benefits I've been talking about, building confidence, developing habits, learning by doing, those happen whether you reach $10,000 in 12 months or 24 months. The compound growth starts working the moment you invest your first dollar, not when you hit some arbitrary milestone. Here's what matters: start with whatever amount fits your budget. Stay consistent. Let that first year teach you everything you need to know about investing. The exact timeline to $10,000 is far less important than taking that first step and building momentum. Your wealth building journey is about progress, not perfection. And any progress is infinitely better than staying on the sidelines waiting for the perfect time or amount. The psychological breakthrough of $10,000. There's something psychologically powerful about reaching five figures in investments. Suddenly, you're not someone who's trying to invest, you're someone who has substantial money working for you. This psychological shift changes how you think about money in general. You start looking for ways to invest rather than more reasons to spend. You begin seeing purchases differently. Do I want this $200 item, or would I rather add $200 to my investments? Many people find that crossing into five figure investment territory increases their commitment to long term investing. Below that threshold, investment can feel like an experiment. Above it, it often becomes a priority. Your first $10,000 won't make you rich by itself, but it sets the stage for everything that follows. Here's what that $10,000 enables. Year two, you feel confident investing larger amounts because you've proven to yourself that this works. Your monthly contributions often increase to $800 to $1,200. Year three, you start optimizing your strategy, maybe adding international funds or adjusting your asset allocation. But you're doing this from a position of experience, not theory. Year five, your investments have grown to $60,000 to $80,000. You're now earning more from investment returns in the good year than you invest. Compound growth is becoming visible. Year 10, you have $200,000 to $300,000 invested. Market gains in a single year might exceed your annual contributions. You're officially building serious wealth. All of this traces back to that decision to start with your first $1,000 and build to $10,000 in year one. Here are the common mistakes that derail year one. Mistake one, waiting for the perfect amount, thinking you need $5,000 or $10,000 to start. Start with whatever you have. Even $500 creates the habit and gets you in the market. Mistake two, over optimizing everything. Spending months choosing between funds that differ by 0.05% in fees while not actually invested. Perfect is the enemy of good when it comes to getting started. Mistake three, stopping during market dips. Your first market downturn can be scary when you're new to investing. Remember that volatility is normal and temporary, but stopping contributions during dips means missing the recovery. Mistake four, not tracking progress. Without celebrating milestones like $2,500, $5,000, and $7,500, you miss the motivational boost that comes from seeing progress. Track your journey to $10,000. Here's your month by month action plan. Month one, open investment account, choose broad market index fund, invest whatever amount you can start with. Months two to three, establish monthly automatic contributions. Start with an amount you're comfortable with. You can increase it later. Months four to six, focus on consistency. Don't check balances daily, but do review monthly. Learn to ignore short term fluctuations. Months seven to nine, look for opportunities to increase contributions. Maybe redirect money from other categories or had unexpected income. Months 10 to 12, push toward the $10,000 goal. Consider increasing contributions one more time or adding any year end bonuses. The key is making it automatic and consistent, then increasing the amount as you get more comfortable with the process. Your first year of investing isn't about the money you make from returns, it's about the foundation you build for everything that follows. That $10,000 milestone represents something much more valuable than just the dollar amount. It represents your transformation from someone who thinks about investing to someone who actually builds wealth. It proves to yourself that you can do this and that markets work over time and that consistent investing creates real results. The women who build substantial wealth for retirement aren't necessarily the ones who started with the most money. They're the ones who started building the right habits earliest and stayed consistent throughout the first year and beyond. Your first $10,000 is the hardest money you ever invest because it requires the biggest mindset shift. After that, adding the next 10,000, then 50,000, then $100,000 becomes a natural progression rather than an overwhelming challenge. You don't need perfect timing, perfect knowledge, or perfect amounts of money to start. You just need to start, stay consistent, and let that first year teach you everything you need to know about building wealth. If you're ready to keep building your investment knowledge, check out this video where I dive deeper into the strategies that can help you accelerate your wealth building journey even faster. Because building your first $10,000 is just the beginning. The real wealth building happens when you combine that foundation with smart strategy and consistent execution over time. See you in the next video.